Mr. Director, worry not. We'll make sure your agency is adequately funded. This judge you arrested in Wisconsin, she was breaking federal law, wasn't she?
Yes, that's why we arrested her.
She was helping an illegal immigrant escape being taken into custody. Is that right?
Yes, and the field agents decided to open the case, work the case.
And as Americans, do we get to pick and choose which laws we want to follow?
We do not.
If you're a state court judge, do you get to decide you don't want to follow federal law?
No.
And if you violate federal law, you get arrested, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
That's called equal treatment under the law, isn't it?
Yes, Senator.
You remember Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. I think Ms. Page worked for Justice. The Inspector General found in its investigation that they hated President Trump and they really wanted Secretary Clinton to win. Is that true?
That's correct, sir.
And this would be the same same Ms. Page who sent an email to Mr. Strzok with whom she was having an affair. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And Mr. Strzok with the FBI, senior official at the FBI, replied, quote, no, he won't. We'll stop it. Did I read that correctly?
You did, Senator.
Okay. Now, Ms. Page got quit before she could get fired. Mr. Strzok was fired. And predictably, they filed a lawsuit because in Washington, it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee. Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please. The Hunter Biden laptop. In October of 2016, shortly before the election, the New York Post wrote a story that was widely covered talking about Mr. Hunter Biden's influence peddling scheme based on his laptop. A couple of weeks later, Secretary of State, soon to be Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, organized a group of 51 so-called intelligence experts. Had some real rock stars on the list. Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, and they said, oh, no, the story in the New York Post is not true. It's based on Russian disinformation. You remember that?
I do, Senator, as the lead investigator for Russiagate for the House Intel Committee.
Yeah. The FBI had had the laptop for 10 months, hadn't they?
They did, Senator.
So the FBI knew right before the election that it wasn't Russian disinformation, didn't they?
And that was confirmed by the Inspector General's report.
Yeah. Who at the FBI refused to let the FBI tell the American people the truth?
I don't have that name in front of me, sir.
Well, would you look?
I will, sir.
I'd like to know. I'd like a name, not a division. I'd like the name. A person with a brain and a beating heart.
Yes, sir.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Kash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production to the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Reid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director. As you're well aware, DOJ.
A tense exchange during a Senate hearing placed the conduct of federal law enforcement under a sharp spotlight as a senator questioned the FBI Director about several controversial cases involving the Bureau. The discussion began with the arrest of a Wisconsin state judge accused of helping an undocumented immigrant evade federal custody. The FBI director confirmed that the arrest followed an investigation by field agents who determined the judge had violated federal law. The senator used the case to argue that the principle of equal treatment under the law must apply to everyone, including members of the judiciary, insisting that no official has the authority to ignore federal statutes. The hearing then shifted to long-standing concerns about political bias within federal institutions. The senator revisited the case of former FBI official Peter Strzok and Justice Department lawyer Lisa Page, whose text messages during the 2016 election cycle expressed hostility toward then-candidate Donald Trump. According to the Inspector General's findings referenced in the hearing, both officials were disciplined. Strzok was fired while Page resigned, but later received significant financial settlements after filing lawsuits over their dismissals. The FBI director told lawmakers the settlements were approved during a prior Justice Department leadership, underscoring lingering anger questions among critics about accountability and the handling of politically sensitive personnel disputes. Lawmakers also raised issues surrounding the Hunter Biden laptop controversy and the death of Jeffrey Epstein. The senator argued that the FBI had possessed Biden's laptop months before the 2020 election, yet allowed public narratives suggesting the story was Russian disinformation to circulate. The director acknowledged the Bureau had the laptop, but did not immediately identify who made the decision not to publicly clarify the matter, promising to review the record. On Epstein's death, the director maintained the Bureau's position that Epstein died by suicide in federal custody, adding that the Justice Department is continuing to review what information can be released while protecting victims and sensitive material. The exchange highlighted ongoing political scrutiny of federal investigative agencies and the persistent demand from lawmakers for greater transparency.